watching KWQC TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities. Live from the Quad Cities, with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel, this is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, it may not feel like a good time to get outside and do yard work, but it's actually the perfect time of year for pruning trees. The Illinois Extension is here with details on that. And an apartment at the historic Hauberg Estate is now available for vacation rental. We're taking a closer look at the newly renovated Andrews Place. Plus, meet the artist with work on exhibit through the end of the month at Geneseo's Smith Studio and Gallery. You're watching Quad Cities Live on this Friday, January 3rd. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Morgan Otier. Well, despite frigid temperatures on this Friday, many of us are preparing to bundle up and hit the slopes. My co-host, Kyle Keel, is spending this afternoon at Snowstar in Andalusia. And Kyle, crews there have been busy making snow with plans to actually open tomorrow.
Yeah, they're going to be opening this weekend, Morgan, just in time for this frigid weather, the fresh snow we had yesterday. But like you said, they are making their own fresh snow. So they've been closed the last 5 days, but they're opening once again for the 10th time this season as we head into Saturday and Sunday. So joining me now is one of the owners of Ski Snowstar. We've got Doug Harper. Doug, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. So obviously this is a very popular spot during the winter time, but the weather really hasn't been on our side very much this season, but you guys have had some pretty good weather, at least good stretches of cold temperature to make your own snow.
Yes, we're excited. This is tomorrow will be our 10th day of the season, and we're way ahead of schedule the last several years.
Yeah, last several years have been a little bit tough on getting a good stretch of those cold temperatures. So talk about the process of making your own snow, because as we know, Mother Nature is not always on our side making snow. So there's kind of a science to it.
Yes, there is a science. It's called the bulb factor. It's humidity, barometer, temperature. And you need lots of water and lots of power and the right temperatures. So the colder the temperature, the more volume of snow we can make per hour.
All right, so you've been at it for 5 days. So approximately how much powder are going to be on these hills this weekend?
Well, that's hard to judge. It's going to be based on the wind and things like that. We like to have 12 to 18 inches over the areas that are open. This weekend, we're going to have the half the hill open for sure, and we're going to start working to the south to open up the other areas of the park. But our tubing is looking fantastic, and so come out.
All right, so what would you say is probably the most popular activity here at Snowstar?
You know, the tubing is always popular. For all the families, we've had kids from 3 years old to 80 years old. And then, you know, and people come out here, the first timers, and we have a great ski school. And so we could take somebody who's been a skier for 20 years and they can have a great time, and the first timer can have a great time.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, it's a fun for all ages, that's for sure. And obviously, if you want to warm up, you've got a nice little lodge area as well.
Yeah, we have a full lodge, restaurant, and upstairs, and a lounge downstairs. At the Tube Hill, we have a concession trailer, and so wherever you're at here, we can take care of you.
And you still have the fire pits down at the Tube Hill?
We have fire pits at Tube Hill. We have fire pits at Learning Hill. We want here to be an enjoyable day.
There you go. So do not let the cold temperatures distract you from coming out here. So Ski Snowstar going to be open once again tomorrow for the 10th time this season from 9 to 9. They'll be open from 9 to 8 on Sunday. And just before the show, Doug, you were trying to figure out Monday. What's Monday looking like?
Well, Mondays are schools. Usually we're closed on Mondays.
Yeah.
But since it's a winter break, some schools are closed on Monday. We're going to be open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
All right, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, and with these cold temperatures, it's looking pretty good here for at least the next couple of weeks. So if you want more information on the hours they're open, you can follow Ski Snowstar on Facebook, and you can also visit their website for pricing and all the other activities available by going to skisnowstar.com. But for now, live in Andalusia for Quad Cities Live, I'm Kyle Keel. We'll send it back to you, Morgan.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Well, we see all that snow on the ground, making it a little bit less appealing to work in your yard, but winter is actually a great time to prune our deciduous trees. Now, these are trees like oaks and maples, for example, that lose their leaves each fall. Joining us now with important information about pruning the right way is Emily Swihart with the Illinois Extension Office. Emily, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for being here. So we're getting started in 2025 with pruning our trees, which is you know, a necessary thing to just get out there and do it. But there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it, and that can actually make a really big difference.
It can make a huge difference. So trees in our landscape are the longest lived and the largest plants, right? So this means all the investment that we are putting into them, so financial, time, energy, is the outcomes or the return on the investment can be either maximized or minimized compared to the other plants in our landscape. And so I have a huge passion for trees. I think that we need to invest more in them. But like you said, there's a few different things that we can do that can either really help the health and the longevity of our trees or hurt them.
Right.
So I'm very happy to be here today because January, maybe not everybody's favorite gardening season.
No.
But right now, for deciduous trees is a really good time because they are dormant.
Okay.
You can see the bone structure. You can see, you know, like all the leaves have fallen off, so you can see the branches. But also some of the pest threats that would be preying on our trees once we create this wound, which is what we're doing when we're pruning them, are also dormant. And so it gives trees a bit of an advantage in terms of preparing to seal a wound before those pest pressures develop.
Okay, and it's something that you had noted was this is especially important for oaks because there's a threat of oak wilt. Can you describe what that is and how we could kind of be avoiding that?
So oak wilt, unfortunately, is a disease of all oak trees. So it doesn't matter if you have a red oak, a white oak, a bur oak, a swamp white. Like all of our favorite oaks are susceptible to oak wilt, and it's extremely fatal. Especially in the red oaks, but white oaks will succumb to it eventually. We don't have really good treatment options. So prevention of your tree getting oak wilt is the best practice that we can recommend right now. And it enters the vascular system, the internal structure of a tree, through wounds, which, like I said, we're creating wounds when we prune our oak trees. So the vectors, the insects that transfer oak wilt from tree to tree are dormant right now. So that's why, especially for our oak trees, we want to be pruning right now.
Okay, so maybe the most important takeaway is how to prune. So you have actually 2 key tips for pruning properly today. And I will say, I think that's a big part of it, and I think that's where the avoidant, you know, comes in for a lot of people, is if you're not super well versed in horticulture, like yourself or something, people just go, eh, and they leave it, or maybe they think I'll just hire somebody to do this for me or something like that. But this is good stuff to know for yourself, and it's not that hard to grasp.
It's really not, but you could really mess up a tree.
Sure. Fair enough.
So first, I do want to emphasize safety. Keep your feet on the ground. Use tools you're comfortable using. Chainsaws are really fun to use. They make really quick work of it, but they are really dangerous. So I really recommend using a couple of my favorite tools here. I've got a handsaw and a hand pruner. Where we got the camera? There we go. So these are just handheld tools. You can see they're well loved. Keep them sharp. Use these, and these tools should be adequate for the size of pruning that we're doing. So it should be smaller. We should be pruning along the way of trees growing, and so it should be smaller branches we're removing. So first I want to show on this sample here what we're looking for. If you're removing an entire limb, which is usually what we're doing, there's a couple of different things I want us to identify. So right here you can see this swelling. I hope the camera can zoom in. So right in here where the trunk and the branch meet, this is called the branch collar, and there's a swelling that goes around here. Inside of this swelling here is specialized tissue that will help seal the tree over. We used to do flush cuts, which was just like straight down the trunk. We don't do that anymore. There will be some plant material left on there when we're removing the branch, because that will help seal over the tree. Right? And so I kind of drew a line where you would want to make, where you'd want to make your cut, and then you can also see.
I can see how it's different than what we may have used to do.
Yep. And this picture shows it too. On more mature trees, it's usually more pronounced, but it's there whether you can see it or not. And so just kind of cut outside of that branch collar.
Got it.
If you're removing a larger limb, there's a 3-point pruning cut that you want to do so that you don't rip the bark, because if you damage the bark on the trunk, there's not a lot we can do to help protect the tree. It's pretty damaging. So It's a very simple cut to make. You just make 3 cuts. One is on the underside, outer, in this right here you can see it too. So you go on the outer side of the lamb about a foot from where you're going to make your final cut.
Okay.
Your first cut is up underneath. Your second cut is outside of that. And you can see here where like the bark ripped off.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to prevent it from doing, is ripping the bark on the trunk. This doesn't matter because we're removing
cut it, yeah.
So this is protecting the trunk, and then you make your final cut here. You're just removing weight from the limb.
Oh, that makes sense. And making all of that a little bit easier.
Yep.
Okay, and what was that called? 3-point?
Yep, a 3-point pruning cut.
3-point pruning cut.
Yep.
And all this information, too, we'll make available to people online. But for anybody that is interested in learning more about trees, how to care for them, there's actually a webinar coming up, and it goes on for several weeks.
Yep.
So 6 weeks, and here's the information about it. So talk a little bit about this webinar and what we're going to be learning.
Yeah, so this is, like you said, a 6-week webinar. It starts January 15th.
Okay.
And the audience that we're targeting is anybody interested in trees. So whether you're caring for trees in your backyard or you're doing it professionally, this is for you. What we wanted to do is we wanted to spend time together. You'll have access to a number of us extension professionals to ask tree questions, but then we'll go through a series of these tips that we think are really important so that you can care for your trees well.
That's nice. I like that you clarified too that you can be a professional or you can just be somebody who wants to take care of your trees. Because again, I'll reiterate, I think a lot of people think that's probably not for me, but it is, and it can be.
It is, and I want to, I guess, clarify too, if you care for trees, like you don't have to be using tools either. You could be an advocate. You could be speaking for the trees in our community. You could be someone that just wants to know more about trees. You don't have to be directly involved with caring for trees if you just want to know more. And we think it's pretty affordable, $50 if you want continuing education units as a professional, or $10 just for a citizen that wants to participate.
Very cool. Yes, so there are 6 webinar sessions and they span 2 Wednesdays a month from January through March, and they cover a lot of topics, 2 topics, and is what I was reading. And something I think is really cool is that you're doing something new this year. Each one's going to conclude with a discussion of tree health issues based on photos that attendees submit.
Yes.
So if you are somebody who has something in your yard or in one of your trees and you want to get your question answered, you can submit that photo, and then you guys will all chat about it.
Yep.
That's really helpful.
And we think that's the most useful part, honestly, of the session, is the real world evaluation of trees, because we see so many different issues and we want to help people.
Awesome. Well, to explore more horticultural plant websites, visit extension.illinois.edu/plants. And if you poke around on there, you're also going to find the website to sign up for the webinar as well. As always, Emily, thank you so much for coming in today, and just all the examples, super helpful.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Well, coming up on QCL, an incredible opportunity to spend your vacation in a newly renovated rental space at the historic Hauberg Estate. We'll take a look at Andrew's Place next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
The Hauberg Estate is an historic building located in Rock Island, Illinois, built in the early 1900s. The home has been on the National Register of Historic Places since 1972. Now, after 16 months of renovation, you can find a portion of the estate listed on Airbnb. Very cool. Deb Quincy is the executive director of the Hauberg Estate and is joining us today. Deb, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about this. It's called Andrew's Place.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about it specifically, where it's located on the property and kind of what it looks like.
So it's on the 2nd floor of the carriage house.
Very cool.
So the carriage house is a total of 8,000 square feet.
Wow.
The apartment, and there's actually 4 floors. There's a basement, 1st floor, 2nd floor, and a whole attic up above. So, yeah, so Andrew's Place is on the 2nd floor.
Okay.
And it's large.
Very large, yeah. It's got several bedrooms. I think
3.
I read 3 bedrooms there, and it's above the carriage house, as you mentioned, which is also a super cool place to hang out right now, because you guys have done a whole lot with that space.
We have, yeah. Actually, June. It'll be about a year and a half ago. We opened up the carriage house bar and gift shop.
Yeah.
And that was a $600,000 renovation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible. I remember we were there when it first opened up, and so this is just another cool addition to that part of the property. So talk about this space, Andrew's Place, and who it is named after. There's a very cool story behind the naming of this space.
So Andrew Reitz was the driver for the Denkman family, which Suzanne was a Denkman.
Okay.
That was the lumber heiress.
Okay.
Suzanne was the lumber heiress. And when her parents passed away, she brought Andrew over to her mansion instead of the other mansion. So Andrew stayed in the families for 50 years.
50 years. And he lived there on the property as well?
He lived on the second floor.
Okay,
Yep,
so
yep.
clearly made a big impact on the Denkman family throughout his time, which is, you know, it's cool that there's like a little ode to him. So he was a driver, gardener. He just kind of did all this stuff there.
He did everything pretty much in that building. So one part of it, of the first floor, is the auto house, and he took care of the cars, which he did not like.
Okay.
Because he was more used to horse and carriages.
Okay.
And then the carriage house. They really didn't do a whole lot with the animals, with the horses at that point. Still on occasion, but she had 2 Baker Electrics. And so he had to learn how to drive them.
Wow.
And there's a quote that John Hauberg had put that when they retired Andrew, that one has to know how to avoid a collision. Because he just did not like the cars, and he kept getting in accidents.
Oh my gosh. A little funny story there. Well, the Friends of Hauberg, the foundation, has really been planning on this renovation for quite a long time. I was thinking, I read something like about a decade that this has been kind of on the list.
Yeah, we've been operating it for 8 years.
Okay.
So, of course, when we first started everything, you know, we were behind the 8 ball quite a bit. It was pretty run down and
Big
needed
projects.
a lot done.
Yeah.
And so trying to figure out how we could generate more revenue to keep the estate up. I think it was probably about about 2018. We had the mayor over at that time going through the carriage house, and at that time all it was used for was for storage.
Sure. Wow, what a change that we've seen.
A big change.
That's
so yeah,
incredible.
it's been in the thought process for quite a while.
Yeah, well, it's very exciting to see all of that come to fruition in a way. And you just mentioned it. I mean, ultimately, there's a foundation. This is a revenue stream to continue doing work and things like that. So talk about, you know, what you hope to see from this Airbnb. I mean, it just went on the internet. And I do want to say, too, here's the posting there on Airbnb. That's what it looks like. So for people who are not familiar, who've never used Airbnb, it's an extremely popular service. I mean, if you're vacationing anywhere in the world, you just go on this website and you can look around for really the perfect rental for you, for your family, for your workplace trip, whatever it may be. So this is just really an awesome thing that, you know, is now being offered here in the Quad Cities. I can't even imagine how many people would want to have events and things like that at Hauberg or at the Carriage House, and just having this so close.
Yeah,
very cool.
A lot of the weddings.
Yes.
A lot of the wedding parties are inquiring about it because they can just stay there.
They can just stay there, get ready for the wedding, do the whole thing. I mean, I just think it's amazing. Well, I was looking at the Facebook page recently, I think before the end of the year, and there's a lot of things on the wish list as far as the Hauberg estate is concerned. So can you kind of talk a little bit or highlight maybe a few of the things that you are going to be working on?
The formal rose garden is one thing that we are getting done this year. The problem we are having with that is that since it is a landmark property, we have to match the brick. And the brick is no longer getting made.
Oh, wow. That is problematic.
That is problematic. So we're working on that. We're trying to find some brick companies that are actually will make the brick for us because we just can't find it anywhere.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And then the greenhouse. The greenhouse has been missing for a long, long time, and we just thought it was kind of scattered everywhere. And last spring, during our plant sale, our native plant sale, a lady came up and said, I know where it's at.
Oh my goodness.
And it's in New Boston.
No kidding.
It's in New Boston, and a elderly gentleman is still using it. We're going to replace it with something else for him, but he's willing to give it back to us.
Oh, wow.
So that will also be turned into a, it's called Miss Suzanne Denkman, because that's on the plan of the conservatory. So it'll be Miss Suzanne Denkman's Conservatory Tea and Coffee Shop.
Oh my gosh.
So it won't be finished this year, but it'll start this
It'll be
year.
starting this year, which is very, very exciting. And we won't make you reveal anything, and of course you wouldn't, but you did hint at the possibility of a surprise coming to that very special carriage house. So that is something that we should all be looking forward to.
Yes.
Any hints?
Any hints?
Any hints you want to give us?
It's something that has been sitting around for a couple years now.
Good hint.
We just could not get it to work.
Okay.
And now we can.
And now you can.
And we just have to install it.
Okay, see, those are great hints. All super exciting. So much to look forward to through these chilly winter months, because before we know it, we'll all be out roaming around the Hauberg Estate once again. And if you want to learn more about this historic estate, from its history to plans for the future, just visit the website right there on your screen. That is haubergestate.org. Deb, wonderful to talk with you today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Coming up on QCL, an opportunity to check out the incredible work of a local artist while shopping among these small businesses of downtown Geneseo. We'll meet Bill Marsoon next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
There is an art exhibit underway for the rest of this month at Smith Studio and Gallery in Geneseo, Illinois, showcasing a variety of paintings created by a local artist. And that artist is Bill Marsoon, who is joining us today. Bill, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Excited to talk with you today. And actually, your art has been on exhibit at Smith Studio and Gallery throughout all of December as well.
Correct, yes.
Very exciting. So thanks for taking the time out and chatting with us. I know the studio is open today. So give us a little bit of background on your work, what you like to paint, where your passion for painting comes from.
I'm a local artist, of course, and I've painted and drawn all my life. But I was a math art teacher when I taught for 35 years. I taught basically math in that time, a little bit of art. And then so I was a mathematician who drew. Well, when I retired, I became a painter who likes to do mathematics.
Still likes to do mathematics.
So I had some friends ask me to come start painting, so I started doing that. Of course, I think like a lot of people, I start with flowers, and then work my way to other things.
I'm still on flowers.
Yeah.
I'm still
I
doing
love flowers. I still love my irises when I have to paint them, but I branched out now to other things, people, and a little more abstract, but I'm not an abstract painter at all.
Well, we are seeing, I mean, that you're standing next to is beautiful right there, but as we're seeing, you know, these different pieces, there is such a variety of work, so you're kind of like no stranger to trying something new. I mean, that's very clear. Like, you don't just stay in one lane.
No, I get bored. I would really get bored if I painted the same thing over and over again.
Look at that. So is this a photo from the exhibit?
That's part of the exhibit, yes, that is.
Now?
There were 23 paintings in the exhibit. 18 of them were brand new for the exhibit, and all of them were painted since February at least. So I had 5 paintings I put in, and then it painted 18 more. You
painted 18 more. That's really incredible that you're able to do that, because I know everybody is different, you know, with their creative process, and you know, no two people are the same, but you make quick work of it.
Yeah, I'm very fast. I worked in theater, I still do. Painting those great big drops you see that are 12 foot high and 40 foot wide. And you have to be pretty quick to do those, or at least I did. So I can paint pretty fast when I have to.
That is so incredible. Yeah, I just love seeing that variety that we were just seeing in that video. And yes, you work in theater. So where did you learn to do all of this? Are you self-taught?
Well, a little bit, but I graduated from Illinois State with a degree in math and in art.
Okay.
I started out with a minor in art, and I had a teacher who took me under their wing and said, "You're better than this." I mean, so he made sure I got a major and finished up with a major. He pushed me to get through that. And so I come out of Illinois State with a degree in math and art. As far as we know, when I graduated, there wasn't anybody else who had ever done it. They couldn't find anybody who had done it.
Bill
that way.
Marsoon is working with both the left and right sides of his brain.
Didn't know about that back then. We didn't worry about that back then.
Do you think at all like they lend themselves to each other?
I think they're exactly the same thing.
I love to hear
Both
that.
of them start out with a white piece of paper and a problem. You know, I want to paint flowers, or I want to do a geometry problem.
Wow.
And then somehow in your mind you have to see it, and then the idea is to put it down on whatever you're doing, a piece of paper, chalkboard, canvas, whatever it is. And sometimes it's correct, and sometimes it isn't. And like with a math problem, there are art projects that get thrown away and we start over again.
Wow.
So I think, you know, and a lot of the artists, Leonardo, I don't want to compare myself to these guys, but a lot of them were mathematicians and architects too, because that's how they made their money. A lot of them did both. So I think they're very closely related.
It's interesting to know, and I agree with you. That's very cool. Well, you know, if you want to check out this solo exhibition, it's been underway for a month. You've got another month to see it. It's free, and it is open to the public. So Smith Studio and Gallery, you know, David Smith has been on the show plenty of times. It's located on South State Street in Geneseo. It is open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And not only can you view art there, you can also purchase it. So again, there's just a variety to see, and I'm sure you'll fall in love with something. Bill, thank you so much for being
on the show. He has other artists there too besides me. But
well, today we're highlighting Bill
I
Marsoon,
understand.
okay? So thank you so much for being here.
Okay.
Well, still to come in our next half hour of QCL, a big anniversary for a growing business in East Moline. We'll learn more about the plants and flowers and gifts that you can find at Quartz Botanicals. Plus, we're checking back in with Kyle, who is live at Snowstar in Andalusia. Sure to be a busy spot this weekend after our recent snowfall. And can we expect more snow? Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland has the answers for us in your First Alert forecast after the break.
And now your First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland.
Yeah, and a special guest. See, Janae and I, we're doing this to keep warm, aren't we? Yeah. Are you ready for a lot of snow?
No.
Okay, well, you're not going to get any, so thanks, off the shot. You go. Okay, well, yeah, we're still looking at Sunday for the possibility of snow, but model run after model run continues to push it south. We'll see. More on that in a moment. But for the time being, I'm going to get out of the way because my head was getting warm. Enjoy the sunshine. Beautiful. And it's reflecting off that nice little winter blanket of snow. Unfortunately, with the clear skies tonight, all those temperatures that you'll find on the thermometer in your backyard will likely be in the single digits. We'll go down to 8 here in the Quad Cities, and our wind chills will be below 0 for most of the area. Not much of a rebound tomorrow. Low 20s, and after some sun briefly in the morning, we'll start to bring in more cloud cover, and that is attached to our next system. As a matter of fact, there's the cloud cover right now. We're clear. We'll stay clear overnight, but then this cloud cover inches its way to us throughout the day tomorrow, so we get increasingly cloudy. And here's the system that we're watching for possible snow on Sunday. You see, it's just bumping into the west coast. No places to send up weather balloons out here in the ocean, but there are certainly more places to send weather balloons up to get us that data that we need once that storm gets over the landmass of the United States, and that's what will happen overnight. So we'll start to get better information on the track of the storm as we get into our Saturday. But as we get into our Saturday weather-wise, we start off with a little sun, then you can see we cloud up. Now, we do have a first alert day in effect for Sunday for the possibility of accumulating snow, generally along and south of the Highway 34 corridor, maybe a couple of inches, but watch our in-house model. Now, this is one of the models that keeps the snow completely out of the area. We go Saturday into Sunday, and there's the snow never even touching the TV6 viewing area. However, some models do have it moving farther north. We'll just wait to find out which models are right when we get more information on the system tomorrow. Now, the Weather Service has a winter storm watch for areas late Saturday through Monday morning, again, along and south of Highway 34. What does that mean? Along and south. Well, certainly south of Highway 34, but along Highway 34 means you could still be a few miles north of Highway 34 and get into some potential snow. Before I leave you, let's take a look at the temperatures. 18 Davenport, 20 in Moline, and low 20s for most areas. Tonight, those wind chills more are going to get down to the single digits below 0, and snow or no snow Sunday. We've got colder air to come next week. We'll have that 7-day forecast of 4.
You know what? It wouldn't be January, though, if that weren't like a thing. You know, we
Thank you.
had like the longest summer ever. It lasted forever.
Right.
And really a mild December. And I think that a lot of people, while they might be bummed out that it's cold, they kind of expected it.
I know. I'm not going to blame you for being from Canada, but you know Midwest winters. They get cold. cold, we just have to deal with it,
At
right?
least we don't all have to put chains on our tires like we do at home, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, Eric, thank you. Well, still to come on Quad Cities Live, we are marking 2 years of Quartz Botanicals in East Moline, now with a larger space to shop plants and flowers. More on the anniversary celebration after the break.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Business is blooming for Quartz Botanicals, located in East Moline. The shop specializes in unique, high-quality plants, along with crystals, jewelry, lots of other gifts. Here with some exciting updates is owner Austin Harned. Austin, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. This month is very exciting because it actually marks a big anniversary for Quartz Botanicals.
Yes, we've been 2 years brick and mortar business in East Moline.
Congratulations.
We're now going into our 3rd year now. It's really exciting.
Yes.
Last couple months, we actually even opened a larger facility. It's just 5 blocks down from our old one. It's 1,000 square feet bigger.
Wow.
There's room for like outdoor vendor activities when the weather warms up too. Lots of cool stuff.
That's great, and congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. And since you were last here, I mean, you'd already talked about how much community support that you've received. Just describe that for us since the last time you were here, or over the past year. I mean, it just feels like you know, everyone's really embraced this business.
I think they have. I mean, we started from scratch basically. We blend our own soils down to the microbiology.
Wow.
We plant them from cuttings. We even defrost tissue cultures and plant from that. So we do it from the very root basics, and it makes a really great plant, and people love it.
Yeah.
Combined with like the crystals and the jewelry and all the other growing supplies, it's just been an amazing combination. And
that's wonderful.
The two worlds of crystals and plants meeting has just been great.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
And your passion for this is truly amazing because, I mean, it is such a science, but it's clearly something that you just adore and love to just fully jump into.
Yeah. It's a science, but it's also an art too, because the plants are so beautiful and they're Mother Nature as well, and
yeah,
you have to know exactly what to do to make them produce a certain thing. And
yeah. Do you feel like there is kind of a wave of people that are wanting to, you know, become, like I just said, I'm trying to be a plant lady myself and kind of fill my home with more of that? Is that something that you're seeing being in this business?
I think so. I think ever since the 2020 up era, people have been increasingly wanting to be plant parents and start that journey and just see what it's all about, you know?
Yeah, they're so beautiful, and the plants that you have, they're so unique and really special. So right now what we're seeing is actually going to be part of a giveaway, correct? Because you guys are having an anniversary celebration coming up in just a couple of weekends.
Yep, it'll be January 18th, Saturday, 10:30 to 7.
Okay.
We're giving away 150 free 4-inch plants. These two are some of them.
Okay.
We've got about 50 of these guys. The furry one is a monkey tail cactus.
And you said it's not sharp.
It's not. You can pet it and it feels just like a monkey's tail. This one is a ripsalis.
That's beautiful.
They'll eventually trail down and they get little pale yellow flowers on them. They're one of my personal favorite plants. I love them.
Oh yeah.
We've got about 50 of those that we're giving away for free. And then we've got 50 mystery plants that we'll release at a later date. What they are.
I love that, and I think I was reading, because there's a Facebook event page for this, you know, anniversary plant giveaway and celebration. So there will be like actual, you know, you don't go pick, like you're just gonna hand them out and you're gonna pack them up for people. That's super exciting too.
I'm excited for it. We've done it in the past and it's always been a great experience. It's a good way to see all my regular customers at one time. And it's amazing. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, tell us a little bit about the shop. I mean, you already mentioned that you've moved into a much larger location. So when people walk in, what are they going to see? They're going to see all these really cool, unique plants. But you talked about the crystals too. That's a very big part of your business.
It is. It's another half of it pretty much, and we've expanded on that as well as we've moved into the new place too. We have a lot more jewelry cases to do, more bracelets, wire wrap jewelry, sterling jewelry, all sorts of stuff, and yeah, it's going great.
That's great. So as you move into this 3rd year in business in your brick and mortar location there in East Moline, what are your hopes, or do you have any goals for the next 363 days of the year?
Of course, I got a lot. One of them is we're going to definitely roll out a lot more workshops. We did a build your own terrarium workshop in the past where people came in, they chose their container, they chose their plants, and they chose little miniature figurines and crystals and made a terrarium.
Yeah.
January 12th, it's a Sunday, we're having a make your own macrame class as well.
That's fun.
So after that, I hope to do a lot more terrarium classes, a lot more stuff like that.
We love a workshop here in the Quad Cities too. I
They're
think
fun.
that would be really well received. Very cool. Well, the Quartz Botanicals anniversary celebration and plant giveaway is Saturday, January 18th. It's from 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, little birdie told me you may want to get there a little bit earlier than 10:30 because there's going to be a lot of people in line for those free plants. That business is located on 12th Avenue in East Moline, and be sure to follow along on Facebook anytime for any updates, especially as those workshops are rolled out.
Yep.
Austin, congratulations and thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. Up next, Kyle Keel is live out at Snowstar in Andalusia as the slopes are set to reopen to the public tomorrow. We'll take a look after the break.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Between our snowfall yesterday and frigid temperatures today, Snowstar in Andalusia is preparing to welcome skiers and snowboarders to the slopes. Kyle is joining us live from Snowstar now, and Kyle, they have been making snow for several days.
Yeah, Morgan, since December 30th, they've been making snow day and night as the temperatures have been pretty perfect with those very cold overnight lows. Those high temperatures not getting much above freezing, so that's the perfect recipe for snowmaking. And we've changed the view. We're at one of the higher elevations here in the Quad Cities. In fact, if you look this way, you probably can't tell on the camera, but you can actually see the Centennial Bridge in Rock Island from the top of the tubing hill in Andalusia. You can see the snow machines, they are going. And joining me now is Rod Leatherman. He's been very busy the last several days. He's the outdoor manager here at Ski Snowstar. Rod, you're opening up this weekend, finally.
Finally, we're very excited. We tried a little soft opening with a couple runs, but now this weekend we're going to open some more and get the chairlift spinning, and we're ready to go.
I was going to say the chairlifts are probably a popular thing here at Snowstar. Also, talk about the tubing hill, because the tubing hill is just about ready to go.
Well, believe it or not, the tubing hill is kind of the main attraction here at Snowstar over the last few years. A lot of people come out, families, and to enjoy the hill. As you can see, it's got a nice run. We've got a ton of snow on it. You ride the tube down and get to bring the conveyor belt up, which makes it a lot easier on the legs for us old guys. And so, yeah, it's a great time. We get the fire pits going. We have food and beverage out here, so it's a good time.
And how many slopes are you going to have open this weekend?
This weekend, I think it's last count 7. So,
7 different slopes.
Yeah, I'll have 7 open, and I'll have 3 more to go, and that middle of the week I'll have those open.
So I'm sure looking at the First Alert forecast going forward, you're probably liking those temperatures you're seeing because, I mean, let's be honest, it's been a very rough few years for you guys, out of your control.
Yeah, the last 2 years were, no better way to say it, just horrible out here for us. We not only did Mother Nature not grace us with any snow, other than that first little bit we had at the beginning, but then the temperatures were too warm to even make snow. Now she's graced us with some good temperature, and for the foreseeable forecast, it looks like it's going to be from here on out. We can make snow almost every night, I think.
All right, making snow every night. How much snow do you like to have on those slopes?
Well, I want at least a 2-foot base,
okay.
So 24 inches, and then, I mean, we'll add up as much as we can. We'll make all the way through February if we have to.
Making it all the way through February. Hopefully Mother Nature will be on our side as well. And she will be as far as the temperatures go here over the next several days. So if you want to come out to Snowstar, they're going to be open this weekend, tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday rather. And then as Doug told us, they're going to open Monday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for some of those families who don't have kids going back to school from winter break quite yet. So, we're on top of the tubing hill. So I mean, I have to go down the tubing hill.
When in Rome.
All right, so we're gonna go down the tubing hill. It's not quite ready. They're gonna get out the roller tonight to make this smoothed out. But Rod's gonna give me a little push here.
Shove here.
Yeah, give me a little shove. All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, here we go. Give me a good push. Give me a good push. There we go. Bye bye, Eric. Tell us the weather.
There goes Kyle taking that brand new KWQC jacket off into the Quad City sunset. I love it. You know, he nailed it, because that is the funnest thing. I love tubing at Snowstar, and I think that really 26 degrees is the critical temperature to make snow. They can make snow for the rest of this week and all of next week. It's going to pile up there. 8 degrees tonight, clear and cold. We've got that beautiful clear sky, but wind chills, even with that slight breeze below between 5 and -10. Tomorrow we're only up to 22. Make snow, make snow, make snow. Becoming mostly cloudy after some sun early in the day. Daytime chills 20 to 5 above. And then it gets really cold. Sunday, we still can see some snow off to the south, mid-20s and windy on Monday. Look at those highs Wednesday and Thursday. They'll have enough snow to cover Kyle 18 times by then, as we get those overnight lows below 0.
We just have all the fun here on
he
QCL.
does.
Yeah, he has more fun than any of us, but
Right.
it is fun to watch. Oh, wow. It is time now for our wins of the week. It's been a while since we've all been here live, able to do that. So, Eric, what's your win?
Well, I turned on my baking and cooking switch for the holidays. Okay, so first of all, and I have to stop before I get to the second picture, but first of all, I decided, I know I didn't have enough dough to cover the whole cookie sheet that I own, but this is my grandmother's Scottish shortbread recipe. Ooh. I made it for the first time in my life, and it came out wonderfully.
Yay!
Nice and buttery and kind of melt in your mouth, crunchy at first, and then it was great. Now, I joked with you in the newsroom that we might have to blur out this next picture, because I know some people don't like their prime rib.
How to do it.
Yeah, this rare. I love restaurant rare prime rib.
Oh, yeah,
and
like a supper club.
Yes, and each holiday season I make prime rib for the family. I actually made 2, one for the family, one for me, because, hey, Daddy's got to eat too and work here.
You got to work.
So came out really nice. If you don't like your meat this rare, too bad. I love it rare.
We're not sorry.
And we're not sorry at all, because you don't want to ruin it going over medium rare, okay? So,
no, absolutely not.
Did a lot of cooking and stuff this
Well, good. It
past few
looks
weeks.
great. Yeah, you're talented in all the makings of everything. Crafty Eric. Okay, so mine is just a conglomeration of all the Christmas things. Just a quick shot of Darby opening her Christmas presents. But we've been putting them to good use. This is the first year that she has fully been out of school, no daycare, nothing, for 2 weeks. So here we are playing Pretty Princess.
And you're still standing?
At Great River Brewery. Here she is serenading me with her new karaoke microphone.
Nice.
So that's something that she's been doing. There's been a lot of, paleontologist Darby.
Wow.
She's got geologist, I should say.
Oh, okay.
She's she's got little stones that she's uncovering in there. But it has been quite an eventful couple of weeks.
The best thing about kids, you can have all kinds of fun.
Yes, they're a lot of fun. Let's get to Kyle for a quick win. He looks like he's done tubing. Hey, Kyle.
Good. Hey, it's very hard hearing you with all the commotion here with the snow machines, but my win, obviously, going down the tubing hill, that is always fun. I love doing that. I ran back up the hill, finally caught my breath. But yesterday, I got to play in the snow, too, because right when I got home from work, all I heard before I opened the door was, Dad, can we go play in the snow? So we went and played in the snow with my kids. Only snapped one photo, but they were trying to make snowballs. Didn't quite work, but it was still a lot of fun despite the cold.
They are so cute. That is a fabulous win of the week. It's good to see people enjoying the snow that
and
we're
those
getting.
kids will be big enough soon to take down the tubing hill. So
Absolutely. All right, thanks for watching. Your news at 4 is up next.